Hey, what's up, y'all? Do unto others. This is a golden rule from Matthew 7:12. Do you really think people live this way? Do you think they live by this? Some do, and many don't. Something you must grasp is when handling people who talk about others, but get hurt and offended when the same treatment is done to them can be challenging. And it requires a mix of empathy, assertiveness, and wisdom. Now, you need to understand that the root of such behavior often reveals insecurity or a lack of self-awareness. These individuals, they may not recognize the impact of their words or the double standard they apply. Now, addressing this behavior constructively can lead to personal growth for them and foster healthy relationships. Do unto others. Welcome back to the show. You are at the right place at the right time. This is Today's Man Podcast. Welcome to all of our viewers, all of our listeners on the audio. I appreciate you so very much for being here today. Those of you that are watching on Facebook and YouTube, I got something for you today. This is something that we all deal with every single day of our life. And it's going to be taken from Matthew 7:12. What's the full verse? In everything then, do to others as you would have them do to you. For this is the essence of the law and the prophets. Do unto others. How often have you heard that? People who talk about others, but get hurt and offended when the same treatment is done to them. It is essential to approach this situation with empathy. Recognize that people who gossip or criticize others might be doing so to feel better about themselves. This behavior could stem from a place of hurt or insecurity. You just don't know what a person is dealing with when they lash out at someone else. I know individuals that lash out because it's a release for them because they're being treated badly. They're being mistreated. They're being treated disrespectfully. So what do? They treat someone else, quote unquote, of a lesser position the same way. When addressing this issue, ladies and gentlemen, even though this is Today's Man Podcast, use, quote unquote, the I statements to express how their actions affect you or others. For instance, rather than accusing or blaming them. For example, you might say, I feel uncomfortable when I hear gossip because it creates a negative atmosphere. This approach can help them see the impact of their behavior without feeling attacked, because people don't want to feel like they're being attacked. They don't want to be attacked. But they'll attack other people. Isn't that amazing? People who talk about others but get hurt or offended when the same treatment is done to them. Assertiveness is crucial. Setting clear boundaries about acceptable behavior is vital in any relationship. You need to set some boundaries in your relationship, whether it's mother, father, sister, brother, 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 sister, sister, friend, friend, really doesn't matter. Whatever type of relationship you're in, you need to set some boundaries about acceptable behavior. If someone talks negatively about others, and we all know people that talk negative about others, we sometimes talk about people negatively. Yes or yes. Here's something that you could do. Gently, but firmly remind them of the standards you expect. What do you expect when people are around you? What do you expect when you are around others? How about this? You might want to say, I prefer not to discuss others negatively when they're not here to defend themselves, or if they're in earshot and they can't hear you because you're whispering about them. Consistently reinforcing these boundaries can help curb gossip and encourage more respectful communication, because this is what you really want within a relationship: respectful communication. If two people are talking about someone else, or let's put it like this, if one person is talking to another person about someone that's near them, well, you need to reinforce a respectful boundary. I prefer not to discuss others negatively, especially if they're not here to defend themselves. You will hush the conversation every time. Try to encourage self reflection and accountability. Because when these individuals become offended by similar treatment, gently point out the double standard. How can you sit there and talk about someone else, but then you turn and you're offended when they talk about you? Here's another thing. You can say, I noticed that you felt hurt when somebody talked about you, which is how others might feel when the same is done to them. So be conscious about how you talk about others, especially if you're hurt when people talk about you. This can help them understand the consequences of their actions, and it can promote empathy. For people who talk about others but get hurt and offended when the same treatment is done to them, it is essential to model the behavior you wish to see. What do you wish to see? What type of behavior would you like to see? Demonstrate respectful and positive communication every chance you get, and avoid engaging in gossip yourself. That's important. If you don't want to be involved in gossip, don't gossip. If you don't want someone to talk about you, don't talk about other people. If you don't want other people to mistreat you, stop mistreating others. This is a pet peeve of mine. When I hear people mistreat other people, I don't like that. I get really beside myself. And then I start treating that person like they're treating other people. And they really don't like that. Now, is that right? Is that a good thing to do? Now, it can be a training tool, it can be a training session, but is it right? By consistently exhibiting the values of kindness and respect, you can influence others to follow suit. And over time, this can lead to a more positive and supportive environment for everyone involved. But it's going to take work. Handling people who talk about others but get hurt when treated similarly involves a balance of empathy, assertiveness, and leading by example. You got to set the example. Addressing these issues with understanding and clear boundaries can foster growth and healthier interactions. I know that encouraging self reflection and modeling self respect and respectful behavior can further promote a positive change in other people's actions and attitudes. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It's an ongoing process. You got to consistently be in a mode of positive thinking, be in a mode of demonstrating positive behavior, living by the golden rule, as stated in Matthew 7:12, is crucial for fostering a harmonious and just society. For men, embracing this principle holds particular importance. Why? Because we often hold influential roles in our families and on our jobs. Adhering to the golden rule, we can set a powerful example of empathy, respect, and integrity, influencing others positively and promoting a culture of mature care and consideration. The golden rule. How often have we heard it? The golden rule encourages us to reflect on our actions and our decisions. ensuring we align with the values of kindness, fairness, and compassion. In personal relationships, this means treating partners, children, friends, and even strangers with the same respect and dignity we desire. Whatever you desire, you ought to show that same thing. Whatever you desire, you ought to demonstrate that same thing. This approach helps to build trust and strong, healthy connections, reducing conflicts and fostering an environment of understanding and support. But like I said, this takes time, this takes work. In a professional setting, living by the golden rule can contribute to a more ethical and cooperative workplace. By treating your colleagues and subordinates as they would like to be treated, they can create a culture of respect and collaboration, enhancing teamwork and productivity. This is a ripple effect. Such behavior also promotes a fair and inclusive atmosphere where everyone feels valued and heard. People want to feel valued. People want to be heard. There's a lot of people that walk around the office talking about, nobody hears me, nobody listens to me, yeah. And I'm like, yo, stop, time out. Why is it that you don't feel heard? Why is it that you don't feel valued? Let's deal with that. Let's start there. In broader societal context, men and even women who embody the golden rule can act as agents of change, challenging injustice and advocating for the well-being of all individuals, particularly the marginalized and oppressed. By applying this principle to social and community engagements, men and women can help dismantle systematic inequalities and promote a more equitable and compassionate society. But that would be a perfect world, right? Well, why not work towards some sort of a perfect world, or at least the world in which you live in? And that's those that are around you, those that's within your circle, those that's within your reach. Ultimately, living by the golden rule, as outlined in Matthew 7:12, it calls for a consistent and intentional commitment to treating others with love and respect we wish for ourselves. It is a powerful directive that, when embraced by men and women alike, has the potential to transform individuals' lives and entire communities. You can change your family's life. You can change the workplace. You can change your church. You can change your ministry. You can change whatever you're involved in, reflecting the essence of Christ's teachings and fostering a world rooted in empathy and mature respect. Ladies and gentlemen, keep it locked for the next podcast. That's all I have for you today. Tell a friend. Don't keep it to yourself. Share the wealth. I'm my mama's baby boy. And until next time, be blessed.